Welcome to episode number 65 of Millennial Gaming Speak. As you can already see, this is a little bit different episode. There's no Max here, but I am joined by my friend Jake Smith, who I have not seen in months.
Yeah.
We used to work together at GameStop, and we've been wanting to do this for a long time, but we haven't gotten the chance until now, or I just haven't talked to you in forever. So we're getting around to it now, but what's up?
Not much. Got here and got to try out PSVR for the first time, so that was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Been a little skeptical, but definitely.
Yeah. Would you? Okay, so
let's talk about
for
that.
Those of you
it's
who,
pretty new.
For those of you who don't know, Jake is a big PlayStation skeptic.
Yes.
So
unfortunately,
what do you think overall? Do you think it was obviously you haven't tried Oculus or Vive, not
right.
VR, so you obviously don't
I haven't
know
tried
what
VR
those are
in
like.
general.
You haven't tried it in general, but I think it's a really good product for $400.
Yes. For $400, it's definitely it's super comfortable. I really liked how good the headset's made. It looks good, and overall, I had been kind of on the fence about how well $400 could be able to deliver a VR experience, especially with a $400 console. But yeah, I was pretty impressed. Like overall, they did a really good job. The bugs really aren't that glaring.
That's the thing,
especially when you're in the headset. You don't really look for that kind of thing.
Because I asked you about it. Like, didn't I text you about it on launch day? And I asked you what you thought, and you're like, I heard there's a lot of bugs. I was like, dude, I haven't seen any. Yeah,
and that's the thing. Like, they're there since I knew to look for them. Like, I saw them for sure. But they really weren't so much that they pulled me out of the experience. Not at all, even. Like, I felt like I was so much there. I was very impressed, like, with how well they did it. I only tried the Arkham, but, like, it was so cool.
I should make you
just
try
everything.
Res or Thumper.
Yeah, I've heard that there are a lot of actually really good ones. So the only thing that, I mean, there really wasn't that much. The hands jiggle a little bit.
That's only, I don't know if
I've only heard that that's like a big issue in Arkham anyway.
That's my thing, is I've only really seen that in Arkham. Mm-hmm. The only complaint I really have with it is that because you need the camera to constantly be looking at you,
the tracking gets a little funky sometimes.
Yeah, especially when you like turn around or something, because if you turn around with the wands and you try to reach out for something behind you, it doesn't know what you're reaching for, and it just kind of disappears.
It just kind of freaks out.
So
I couldn't tell if it was just the lenses or if it was like something in the headset, but I definitely saw. I'm pretty sure it was a screen door effect from what I've heard.
Yeah,
but you can see the graininess as you look around.
It's most apparent when you switch in Arkham, at least when you switch areas.
Yeah.
So I don't think you ever got to when you like grapple hook to other locations. Mm-hmm. The screen will go black for a quick second, and then you can really see it. Okay. It's not that noticeable though. It's really not.
No,
especially. It's only more noticeable, too, in the games that are actually trying to run, like, the realistic, like a Batman, where it's trying to display, like, human-looking characters. When you're playing something cartoony, like Res or Super Hypercube, you really don't notice it, because it's more stylistic than it is realistic. So.
Well, and the best part was just, like, standing there, especially at the very beginning, and having Alfred walk up, I just felt like I had to, like, back up so he didn't touch me, so... I was pretty impressed. I was happy with it. So
I like it.
Definitely been turned around. I really want to try the Vive and everything, kind of see how they.
I would like to try Vive too. I've tried Oculus once, which I've talked about on the show. Mm-hmm. The demo I tried it with though sucked, so I don't.
Well, Oculus really isn't the best of it.
This was like 2 years ago too.
Oh, okay. So
this was like 20. This was like 2014, and it was like a stupid game where you just like drove a ship.
Okay.
And it was...
Yeah, that's not going to work.
It wasn't good at all.
Well, I finally got my PC done, so hopefully I really want to get a Vive, and I think it's going to happen next year, maybe when my tax return comes in. So.
That could work, I guess.
I definitely want to try it. I want to try Job Simulator. I want to try...
I have a Job Simulator.
Yeah, I know. I know it's on PSVR. I also want to try Hover Junkers, whatever it's called.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I've heard
it's really cool.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of cool ones that I really want to try. I want to see how good VR is, because I've heard really like differing opinions about people who think it's gonna die and be gimmicky again, but then there's also a lot of people who are like, this really after a couple iterations could be like the future.
I was really convinced it was going to basically die.
Yeah.
Once, like 5 days before PSVR came out, we had an episode where we talked about whether or not we think it'll last or not, and I basically made the case that there's no gimmick that's ever, or not a gimmick, there's no peripheral that has ever succeeded. Like, name a peripheral for a home console that has ever succeeded.
Yeah, like
you really can't. Kinect failed, Move failed.
The Wii, which was a home console that relied on motion
That
controls.
was the gimmick of it, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the only time that ever really panned out and sold well, was because that was the whole.
It was the whole thing.
That
But I mean, it died after its huge burst there for 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, it was still popular with casual audiences, but yeah, the hardcore core fan base pretty much fell off rather quick. So, but yeah, I made a case that VR was just going to do the same thing. It would be popular for a year or two. After I've had it in my house for a week, like every time I put it on, I'm a little bit more of a believer in it. And I actually, so we can talk about this now. I was a huge proponent of Rez, and I hadn't played Rez until last night. Rez might be my game of the year at this point. That's how good Rez Infinite is. I really, really like it. Me and Max will probably talk about it a little bit more next episode, because I know I've been trying to push him to buy it, but I think he's kind of broke right now. Rez is awesome. Rez is really freaking awesome. It might be my favorite game this year. Area X, the new area that they added on, is phenomenal. If you have PSVR and you don't have Rez, that's probably the killer app. That and Batman. Those are my two favorites right now. But really, every game I've played so far, Job Simulator is also fantastic, and I should hopefully have a review for that up within the next week. I still have Here They Lie. Haven't played that yet. I really like Thumper as well, though. Thumper's really good. There's a lot of really good games. I think everybody's still also waiting for the one like
Resident Evil 7.
Resident Evil's kind of like the first game.
That's going to be the full game that's really going to show us, like, really going to make or break, can we put a full game in VR. The other thing, though, is I actually saw a statistic, well, not really statistic, it's numbers, but in Japan, they sold out of their initial shipment of PSVR, which was 50,000 units.
I saw people lined up outside stores.
And this was in the first week. And interpolation is actually, extrapolation is a very good, actually, thing you can do in the first week only, which would honestly probably make the United States 350,000 or more, which would already make PSVR the best-selling VR headset.
Which, I mean, when you got a 45 million unit, when you have 45 million units already sold, then you have a good user base.
Yeah, you have a very good base, you have the baseline amount of enthusiasts who really like gaming and who have the money for this. And I think that's really where the first week got its numbers from. I think we have to wait to see where the month is going, where the next 2 months are going, where the holiday's going to be, to see if it can kind of
I'm
keep
interested
up that
to see
speed.
how it sells over the holidays.
Because I honestly still don't really see a lot of families and younger kids or teenagers really being able to get a hold of this.
You have to try it to become a believer. Like, you spent 20 minutes with it. I think you would like to buy one now for sure because of that, but it's just hard to get somebody to try it for an extended period of time because of that.
And it's not one of those things you can just tell somebody, like, this is really cool, this is what happened to me, because it's not like that. It's one of those sensory, it's like telling somebody about a trip you took to, like, Europe. Like, they don't really care because they weren't there. But if you take them to Europe, then they're like, wow, this is the best.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's one of those things. Like, you really have to do it yourself, be there.
Which is hard to sell in like a marketing trailer or something like that. The Wii was easy. You just, hey, look, I flail my arms around and that dude plays tennis on the screen. VR, you got to try, and that's going to be the hard thing.
Well, and that's why I think that they did a good job of putting demo units out in like retail stores. They also have, if you haven't seen it, I'm pretty sure it's Union Station or something. It's somewhere big, where a lot of people go. They had that big PSVR booth where they were just letting people try it.
I tried it at a Best Buy a couple months ago, and that's where I first got to try it. But even then, it was like,
it was probably pretty different from what it is now.
Well, actually, I think it was pretty similar, honestly.
Really?
I tried Valkyrie. It was okay. I don't know. It was just like odd, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of heard the same thing from all the people who did it at stores. They kind of were still like, I don't know. You really had to get the home experience with kind of everything to feel like you really knew what it was all about. So yeah, I don't know.
It's cool. If you get a Vive, I'll have to play it. And I still actually want Chris, our other old GameStop coworker, to try it out too. He wants me to bring it over to your house, but he's gonna have to come over here or something because that setup is not
Not easy.
It's not pretty. There's two.
That looks like a lot of cables.
Two HDMI's, a power cable, the cable coming from the unit itself that you then have to plug into the headset, and then there's one more cable as well, I think.
That is one other thing, though, is that while I was standing up, the cables got in my way, and that kind of detached me from the experience. I felt myself tripping over it.
And then and then you need the camera as well. Mm-hmm. So
it's like several
camera,
things.
Like 5-6 sets of cords, the 2 move controllers if you want to play a game that involves those, which only a couple do. It's a hassle, but so I really don't want to move mine at all, and I'm hoping I don't until I move out or something. For reference, if you're watching this is Saturday something, October 22nd. This is the 3rd episode that I've recorded this week. We've recorded episode 63 and 64 this week. This is episode 65. So this is just kind of serving as an in-between episode. I don't know. We're just kind of, I've just wanted to have Jake on for a while, and so we could talk about some stuff. So hopefully, I don't know when this is going to go up. Hopefully our Nintendo Switch episode is up. I know we had some trouble with episode 64. So if you tried to watch it on YouTube, boy, I don't know. The whole YouTube video got screwed up. So I hope that maybe we can have that fixed by sometime in the future. If not, we should have the MP3 up shortly. I don't know when the MP3 for this is going to go up. Just if you're a subscriber, stay a subscriber, and we'll get it up on our iTunes feed soon. But yeah, because this is our 3rd episode this week, and if you are a regular listener, you know that typically we start off with news, and then we flow from news right into just our random topics. Obviously, we've kind of exhausted news this week since this is my 3rd episode recording. We've already talked about Red Dead 2, which is coming. We've talked about the Nintendo Switch extensively in episode 64, so go listen to that. So there's really no news left to talk about.
Yeah.
So I just had Jake on here to talk about whatever the heck we want to talk about.
Stuff that's going on.
Stuff that I know he wants to talk about, because I've got a couple questions for him, because like I said, he is an Xbox fanboy, and I'm not a fanboy of Sony, but I prefer PlayStation. Yes. So, and he has busted my balls about that forever. We kind of go back and forth. We go back and forth with it. So I've got a couple questions for him, but I know he has a few things he wanted to bring up on the show. So this is going to be a big old topic-based episode. I have no idea how long it's going to be. I guess we'll find out at the end. But yeah.
Well,
what do you want to talk about?
The big thing that I've just been wanting to talk to somebody about is Infinite Warfare. I can't find anybody near me who really understands why or what is going on with this game. First of all, I'm very, I love developers who love consumers, which is why I love CD Projekt Red, and like Naughty Dog 343, like all of them just like really do well by their customers,
their fan base. Yeah.
Bethesda I used to really like, but after Fallout 4, I really kind of lost all my faith in them, which is kind of unfortunate.
Fallout 4 is interesting. Wait, that's a whole separate.
The thing that broke the camel's back, not just that they put a season pass on their game, which they've never done before.
Yeah, they have, haven't they?
Nope. That was their first season pass ever. They always sell their DLC separately.
That's true.
And they're
mostly... Well, it was a good deal, though. $30?
$30 if you bought it at first.
If you bought it early. But at least they got out in front of that and said, look, what was it, like 4 or 5 weeks?
Yeah.
Here's the date we're increasing the price. You know this right now.
Yeah. Then go
buy it now. Buy it now. If you're gonna be pissed about this later, just buy it now, because Far Harbor's $20 on its own. So.
But the problem is that I never felt like any of their DLCs were really worth it. Like Wasteland Workshop was like fine. Far Harbor was really buggy.
Far Harbor was okay. I haven't played Nuka World.
I heard it was all right. No, I heard that it was like also very meh. Like very okay.
Nuka World got really good reviews, but I just never. I haven't had an itch to go back. I have an itch for Skyrim, but not Fallout.
And that's the other thing, though, is they're doing a remaster of a 4-5-year-old game.
Probably because they know that Elder Scrolls 6 is going to take 5 years to come out.
Yeah, but even then, like, if they were going to do a remaster, it definitely should have been Oblivion or Morrowind. Like, why would you remaster a game
Oblivion
that's only 5 years old?
Same reason we're getting remasters of.
And they're doing it because they know people will buy it, because they know it's the most popular game in the series. Yeah. And like, I get that, but that's not what is best for like everybody.
I get
like,
it.
You want to like have people
even
play
though
the
I'm
games
thinking of playing it myself.
Well, yeah, and like I bought it on PC. I bought just regular Skyrim like before it was announced. I bought it in like February, so I'm gonna get it no matter what. But like, still, I'm not a fan of like the whole remaster thing that's been going on this generation, which is also why I'm just really not a fan of this Infinite Warfare thing, because they're taking COD 4 and tying it behind their newest game. So if you want the game, you have to pay $80 to get it.
And that's the stupid thing, is that you can't even pay $60
or $40 or anything. That's
you have to
just
pay
remastered.
What I'm curious about is, can you get the disc like used?
Yes,
and then buy
that's the thing that I've been mostly telling people to do, actually, is because I know there are actually going to be a lot of Call of Duty fans who buy this game and don't feel like it's really Call of Duty. Like, I honestly feel like this is the game that's going to go so far away from what Call of Duty ever was or is, that it's going to kind of push.
Who's the dev on this one? Is it Infinity Ward?
Yes.
See, that's interesting then, because they're the ones who
are almost always true to form.
Yeah.
And that's why it's baffling.
I'll be honest. I've seen some of the multiplayer doesn't have me interested at all. And you talked about the beta to me before we started this, and it's kind of looked at it.
Not good.
I think the campaign actually looks solid though. I'm interested in the campaign for the first time. Not even because Jon Snow's in it. I'm just, from what I've seen, it looks cool and different. It's almost like, it's not open world, but it's open to an extent that Call of Duty hasn't been before.
They said it's not on rails, especially the space parts. Yeah. Which is interesting, but it looks very Halo.
I mean, even when we went to the Sony E3 thing in the movie theater or whatever, we saw that and we're like, is this in VR? That was the one where we were like, is that in VR?
And I called it. I told you, I was like, it's Call of Duty. It didn't really look like it, but it
that whole section though looked cool, because you're like, walking to that terminal, and then they're like, hey, we got a thing here and here, and it's like, okay, I'll go take out this one first. So it's like you almost have like quest. At least that's how that demo made it. And that's cool.
Well, here's the thing about what the campaign did, and especially that trailer from E3. They made the space portion. If I'm not mistaken, he just landed on a ship, went into the hangar bay, and was just killing people. And there was no loading screen, no nothing. And I imagine you could just go on to like maybe just even a set amount of those ships, and that would be really cool and something that Call of Duty's never done. But the thing that Call of Duty has always prided itself in is, first of all, boots on the ground, twitchy first-person action with huge set-piece moments, which I'm sure it'll still have.
Yeah.
But the energy weapons, the special grenades, the exosuits are all stuff that have been better left in real sci-fi games. And so them moving towards that is them kind of conceding that they have been irrelevant, that some of their games were irrelevant for the time, and that they really need to move forward, and that's really just...
I mean, that's even been the trend with Black Ops, oddly. Well, the thing that's weird to me about where Call of Duty has gone is that Black Ops was the one that kind of started this, even though the original Black Ops was Vietnam.
Yes.
And then, so they go from Vietnam to future to
2025.
Further future to, I guess everybody wants robots now, so now we're doing... Well, then it was Advanced Warfare, and now it's like just full-blown like, we're in space.
Advanced Warfare was the one that...
was that the Kevin Spacey one?
Yes.
Okay.
And here's the thing. So Black Ops 1 was great, widely just one of the favorites, as well as Modern Warfare 2. Like, those 2 years were really the golden era of Call of Duty. Then we had Black Ops 2, which was fine, but again, futuristic. Really was the first deviation from what Call of Duty...
What was the last one you played, like campaign-wise?
The last full game I played was... the last one I remember is Ghost. The last one I played was Advanced Warfare.
Okay.
Ghost had a great campaign. Awful game all around, though.
That's
like
what
the
I heard.
Multiplayer was trashy.
That was what I heard. Yeah.
And I was actually kind of disappointed to hear they weren't making a Ghost 2, because they left on a cliffhanger, and I kind of wanted to beat it, because it was written by an actual screenwriter, like a full guy, which was cool. But I mean, the problem is that Advanced Warfare did what it did because Titanfall 2 came out that year. And so they were riding off of that, and
that was a Respawn.
Respawn
did Titanfall,
and then Sledgehammer Games did.
And then Respawn is that with Vince Zampella, the dude who he did Call of Duty, right?
Yes, he worked on Modern Warfare 1 and 2. He was part of Infinity Ward, and then him and a few other developers
they split off and did Titanfall.
And made Respawn. Yep.
Quick jumping off point. How do you feel about Titanfall 2? Comes out next week. Have not. This is the one game this fall that I totally forgot is even coming out.
Me too. Yeah.
And that is
nope. I guarantee you, there's another game that it has a big name that you don't even remember is coming out this year.
Let me think. There's not an Assassin's Creed. Watch Dogs.
Watch Dogs 2.
Actually, there's even a bigger one. Well, not a bigger one, but because I'm actually thinking about Watch Dogs. I'm looking forward to that.
I want to see what it's like, but I don't know if I'm going to buy it.
The
right
weird one that when people mention to me is out in a month, and I like remember that Dishonored 2.
Oh God.
That's out next month.
Yeah.
So
totally
that and
that
Watch Dogs are right next to each other.
Yes. So November actually isn't as empty as I was expecting. I was expecting it to be Call of Duty and just over.
It's Call of Duty, yeah, and then Watch Dogs
and then
and
2 weeks
Dishonored.
later, I believe. Or is it 1 week later, Watch Dogs 1 week later?
I think Watch Dogs is like the 18th, maybe, or
and
something.
then Dishonored
around
2 comes right after.
Something around
And
there.
then December, we only have Dead Rising now?
Dead Rising, Last Guardian.
Okay.
So
well, Final Fantasy.
only Dead Rising
Final
for
Fantasy.
him. Oh, that's at the very, very end of the month.
Yes, like the 30th.
Yeah.
No, that's November 30th, actually.
29th,
They moved it back.
November 29th.
Yeah.
Let me actually look up the release dates. But yeah, the weird one to me is Dishonored.
Yeah,
because Dishonored looks like legitimately really, really good.
It looks fantastic. The new powers and everything look so cool. I cannot wait for that game.
But you didn't remember it was out next month.
I know. Well, that's because for a while, I've been really playing a lot of the new Forza. I just got Battlefield 1, and I'm loving that. I tried the beta for Infinite Warfare and was just kind of laughing the whole time because I just cannot believe that that's where that franchise is going. And there's just hours and hours I could spew about Activision and Destiny and Infinite Warfare and what they're doing, because I really don't blame the developers as much as I blame Activision, because I know there's not much they can do under the iron fist of their publisher.
Yeah.
And Activision is all about the money, and the reason that it's all getting that way is just because of money.
Activision's a way worse company than EA, and
I know.
I don't understand why EA gets crap for what they do.
Yeah, EA used to be bad, but I think that they really turned themselves around a year or two ago when they released EA Access and they had all these cool games coming out.
Max reminded. I don't know if we talked about this on the show or not. Max reminded me the other day. Do you remember when there used to be passes that would come in the games to play multiplayer games online?
Yes.
Remember that trend for like 2 years?
Having to type those in, and then
that
you
was
got
all
a pre-owned
EA.
game, and you're like, crap, I'm screwed.
Yeah. Oh, well, dang. Guess I'm not playing Mass Effect 3.
Ubisoft did that for a couple of their Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah, it was...
Assassin's Creed 3, I think.
Assassin's Creed 3, I think.
Or Brotherhood, maybe? I can't remember.
I don't know. I remember EA did it a bunch because I had Dead Space 3 was one of them. Mass Effect was another one that I remember. There's a couple over there on my shelf that I know were like, it was a weird trend. It was really weird. Really freaking weird.
Did any of their sports games force you to do that? I'm sure they did. For a while.
I think so. Maybe. Yeah, Madden did. I remember that. So it was weird, but yeah, EA's really cleaned themselves up, I think, under Peter Moore's kind of...
Yeah, Peter Moore is a great dude.
He's
awesome. He was the CEO of Xbox when the 360 launched. I don't think he even left until like right after the Kinect launch, like 2011.
Maybe. I can't remember. What was the guy's... Don Matrick.
Don Matrick, that guy.
He was fine for the end of the 360.
That's because he didn't have anything to do.
For the end of the 360 life cycle,
and then the
Xbox
One came out. It's like, this is the time. This is how we're gonna screw him up, and he just did it.
It actually, looking back, I wish that would have happened. Like it would. Like I wish they would have just dragged us kicking and screaming into the future of what they wanted Xbox to be.
God, I wish.
Because the two boxes now are too similar.
They're too.
That's the main problem I have.
Yeah, and the problem is they both still rely on being connected to the internet no matter what. So the check-ins that people were going crazy about, like, was gonna it pretty much has happened anyways. Like, you can't do anything for real.
You can't unlock achievements. You can't.
And too many games rely on
access
being
your games
like
if you have digital
that
downloads.
was another thing. Like, I loved Just Cause 3, but you had to be connected to their servers to play the freaking game.
Yeah, that's really dumb.
And I was like, this is a single player. You don't even have multiplayer.
It's at the point now where, like, if my Wi-Fi goes down, I don't want to play a game at all.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I just kind of lay on the floor and just stare at the ceiling, and I just look over.
Go play a board game or something like that.
Because like I used to go outside, but that's not really a thing anymore.
It's not really a thing when you're in your 20s.
No, you just kind of have to sob until it's over.
Until
I can't imagine what people who were part of that DNS attack had to do yesterday.
Yesterday when Twitter went down?
Twitter went down. Reddit went down.
They took down...
PSN actually went down. So did the Battlefield 1 servers.
So did... Xbox went down for a little bit, I thought.
I don't think so.
Maybe it was just people I heard trying to play Battlefield 1 on Xbox.
Well, because some of the providers...
Yeah. What it was they took down, DNS servers, right?
Yeah, which affects pretty much the entire
which
internet.
Is like... especially like some of the larger sites on the internet, like Twitter and Reddit and PSN, like they're all that's their host client.
And if you don't know how it works, then it's the DYN DNS servers.
Yeah.
And basically, whenever you do anything from your computer or your phone, say you type in like Twitter.com and you try to go to it. Well, it sends the request to a server where the Twitter is hosted, where the whole website, all its information is. And if it can't access that server because it's being attacked by a DDoS attack, it's getting a bunch of artificial traffic, then it won't let you in, and then your phone comes back as not being able to connect.
Yep.
Or your computer or whatever.
Yeah, I couldn't access it on my app or... you couldn't access it, period, yesterday. So yeah, that was actually pretty funny. Where were we at though? I don't remember. You were screaming about Call of Duty, and then I asked you about Titanfall.
Yeah, we were talking. Well, that's one thing we never got to is what we think about Titanfall, because this game. So this month is probably. I think October is going to be probably the most packed month of the year.
Okay, as the person who runs reviews for the website I write for, this has really been
Gears, Battlefield, Titanfall. I feel like we have one more.
PSVR and all the launch titles for that.
Yeah.
What else was the other big one that came? There's something else big that came out like towards the start of the month. Mafia was the one that came out, which is kind of got some lukewarm reviews.
Good. But yeah, so Titanfall. So I played Did you play the tech test? Did you play the beta
for Titanfall?
Yeah.
No. See, I never played betas though.
I was super excited to try it, to play it, because I love Titanfall 1. I poured probably a little over 100 hours into it. I had a blast with it. And Titanfall 2 felt way too different. And it felt like they were trying to appeal too much towards the Call of Duty fan base, and that just really kills me.
Is there still the bots in it that you can kill and get little points? Yes. I like that in the first one. Because it felt like you're constantly... That's one of my biggest complaints with multiplayer games is I can't find anybody on this huge map, but with that at least you were like killing some fodder every 2 seconds.
Made the maps feel more populated, which was cool. So the thing is the tech test was okay. If it didn't have the name Titanfall on it, I probably would have liked it a little more.
I heard they changed a bunch of stuff after that.
They did, and it made it better. And my friends were all like, because none of my friends are really as critical or as like
harsh.
As much as You're
really. Kind of in the same vein as me. I've been very negative.
Yes,
very negative.
I've become kind of cynical and very, very technical about the games I play and the games that I support. So they all loved it. They were like, this game is fantastic. And I'm like, but compared to the first, this doesn't feel like a sequel. I want to try the single player because it sounds really cool. But overall, like the multiplayer, the way it felt, like the way Titanfall 1 was actually extremely unique.
Yeah, it was.
In the movement, it didn't have enough variation of guns, but they were all very balanced.
Yeah.
Which was really cool. I mean, if we get more guns, then I think it's pretty much perfect for this.
You're getting more guns and more Titans too, because you've got flamethrower Titans and sword Titans, and
the new ones look super cool. But the problem is the gameplay, because in Titanfall 1 you were rewarded for knowing how to jump around, run on walls, and just navigate.
Yeah, you could get out of
this one. I felt like I was jumping so slow, running so slow on walls that I could be just shot out of the air.
Is it because Call of Duty is now the fast game and everything's on crack with Call of Duty?
Well, yeah, and sort of. I mean, the Infinite Warfare moves really fast. The boost is slow, kind of like in Black Ops
Yeah.
3. If you knew how that was, it felt sluggish, and that's kind of how it is now. And Titanfall 2 did kind of the same thing. It feels slower to get up in the air. Instead of just a second jump, it feels like you're just hanging
And you need to be
there.
fast when you're trying to pounce on top of the Titan's
And there were
ass.
so many times that I just picked people out of the air, like it was like not a problem. And there were actually people camping and sniping, which I have never ever seen before in Titanfall 1.
I've never understood
And
sniping in that
was
game.
so sad to know that there were people who thought that was a viable solution to this game. And the grappling hook is kind of cool. The grenades are kind of cool.
The thing I'm interested to see,
But the map design, that's the other thing. The map design, Titanfall 1, took an amazing advantage of having both Titans and pilots being able to run around. And there's one map that comes to mind specifically. And it's obviously super hard to explain maps, but
is it from Titanfall 1?
Yeah, but it had alleys where Titans could go in. It had a big courtyard.
The city
but then
area.
it had
The main-
tiny little buildings that the pilots could run through and shoot down from above. And that was perfect.
I know the exact map he's talking about.
And so Titanfall 2 felt really like the maps were just thrown together, really open, which is something that really doesn't benefit Titanfall at all.
I'm interested to see what the reviews are. I'm also interested to see how the campaign's received, because it has a campaign which is weird. Like,
Yeah.
I know some people think it looks cool, and you've got the whole robot buddy who's protecting you and stuff, but it looks odd.
Here's the
I
thing
don't
that
know.
I
I'm
was
hoping
hearing
they can
about.
do a good job with it.
I was hearing that some people think, because if you look at the trailer, it actually sounds like the three laws of robotics. That's actually what the Titan says in the trailer. He says, like, objective 1 is to complete the mission or protect the pilot or something. Objective 1 is to protect the pilot. Objective 2 is to complete the mission, and Objective 3 is like something else. And it sounds like a hierarchy of how it's programmed.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are kind of wondering if maybe the story is going to be about a conflict in the programming where it has to sacrifice the success of the mission to save its own pilot, or vice versa. So it's kind of sounds cool. And if it goes that way, then I think the story could be good enough. I just hope that it's like a real fleshed out story.
I doubt it will be, but we'll see. Hopefully it has some cool set pieces. That's the only thing you can hope for with it.
Yeah.
So what else did you want to talk? I've got what else? So we were talking about Call of Duty. What else did you want to talk about with that? Anything
Not really. I kind of got out my whole spiel on that one.
about Titanfall?
Yeah,
I know there's a few things. You had Destiny, dude. I don't know anything about Destiny.
you know what? Destiny's been out for a while now. I'm just waiting on Destiny 2. They said that there's people working on it.
I told you. Did I tell you? I think I'm gonna go to the Game Awards. I told you
Yes,
that, right?
yes, you told me that.
think it'd be smart to announce Destiny 2 there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think that'd be a good spot to do it.
Yeah.
Or they could always do it at PSX as well, which is like the next day, because they are partners with
PlayStation. The other thing is
That'd be a little odd though.
because I told you I really didn't like Rise of Iron, even though I like Taken King, and that's actually because they brought in a different studio called High Moon Studios, I believe, who did. They did another game. In fact, I think they did.
High Moon sounds really familiar.
Yeah, and it wasn't a good game too. That's the thing. I just can't remember what they did. But they brought them in to do Rise of Iron pretty much for them. There was only a few people who stayed behind from Bungie to help do this. The rest of Bungie is on Destiny 2, which is why I feel like I was unimpressed with Rise of Iron.
And that's smart because it bridges that gap, because originally Destiny 2 was supposed to be this year,
Yes.
wasn't it?
Yes.
So it's smart for them to at least put out something to keep the user base going.
But for a whole year.
The only thing I'll ask you about Destiny, though, because this is really the only thing I can speak to, how do you feel when Destiny 2 starts? Are you one of the people who wants to make sure that your character or characters can transfer? Are you fine with totally starting over from the ground floor? Because people like myself who haven't played, it's way more appealing to me if I was going to actually try to get into it this time to start on
The basic level.
with everybody else.
Yes.
But I know people who have poured thousands of hours into it are completely like pissed about even the idea of that.
Well, what they said is that Destiny 2 would let you bring your character over, But there have been rumors that might not actually happen. I have no clue which is going to be true.
I think it'd be better to just start over.
I think that's what's going to happen. And here's why. Because I think setting it in a different timeline, not in a different timeline, but in a different time.
Yeah.
Just further in the future, further in the past, further in the future would be the only way it makes sense. Because it would be awesome to start the game, choose your character, and have your character from the first game come up to you and be your mentor in this new one.
Kind of like Peter Dinklage was in the first one.
Yeah, sort of. And have you learn from basically yourself.
That would be a good way to do it.
And once you hit your max level, you get all your old gear back. So it's not like you really lost anything.
It'd be a good idea. And then people for like myself, you could have like a default
like class or
like
just like a package that you choose,
or just
like just somebody
there's like
there.
a default like logo type or like
just a guy,
a mascot.
Because that's what they did. They made just basic people. One of them being Nathan Fillion, where he did a great job. One of the only good people in the game, except also
who did they replace Dinklage with? Nolan North.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. I forget about that.
Also, you've seen John Wick, right? I forget the guy's name.
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. No, not Keanu Reeves.
Lawrence Fishburne.
The hotel guy. He was in Quantum Break too.
Quantum Break. Oh, yeah, from Game of Thrones.
He's also in Destiny. He's one of the voices.
That's yeah. I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
So
because he's in Game of Thrones, I forgot about that too.
But yeah, I've been telling people, please God, don't buy Destiny 2 on launch.
Why?
Because
it's gonna be No Man's Sky 2.
Well, no, because I'm one of those people who's like, don't pre-order, please.
I am too. Even though we both worked at GameStop, that makes sense.
And I was never one to just be like, pre-order this game, just like wink, wink. So
if our boss was next to us, maybe. But if not, then I hope she watches this.
Yeah, I hope so too.
You suck.
No, but Destiny 2, especially after how Destiny 1 kind of disappointed a lot of people, I want them to see that they lost a lot of goodwill with the group, especially after launch, like seeing what they were doing and introducing microtransactions.
I still feel like it has a fervent fan base, though.
I know.
And that's what I hate. That's what I hate. I mean, if you've listened to this show, you know. Max always wants to talk about Destiny every other episode because he still plays it like constantly.
Yeah, and I only played Rise of Iron because I'm now game sharing with my roommate Chris, and
is that where if one of you buys a game, you both have it?
Yeah, so we've been splitting, but he bought Rise of Iron because he wanted to play it, so I played it. And it was awful.
I think I'm accidentally doing that with one of my friends. He signed in on my Xbox like a year or two ago.
Oh.
And now he has his own Xbox, and he's like, "Yeah, I've been buying all these games." I'm like, "Yeah, those are showing up on my Xbox too. I don't know why, but I can play them, I guess."
Easy. Yeah, just don't buy games anymore. And
yeah, I guess I've got like GTA 5 and stuff now that I didn't even know I had.
Nice. I mean, it's
nice.
really useful.
I've also got We Happy Few now that I think about it.
Really? I've been kind of wanting to try that. I know that the reviews for that game were kind of middling.
There's no reviews yet because it's not really...
Well, it's early access. People...
Yeah.
The reception was a little different because it's just another indie... kind of survival game, and people are like getting kind of tired of it.
There's like quests to it and things like that. It's weird. It's like a weird mesh of a bunch of different genres.
Actually, speaking of We Happy Few, I would love to talk about some of the indie games that have come out this year.
Go for it.
Inside being the one. I think Inside is a huge contender for Game of the Year this year.
I agree.
Like that game was a 3-hour thrill ride.
Yeah.
I could not stop. Like all three of us sat down, like me and my other two roommates just sat down and played through it one night until like 3 a.m. and we switched off. That game blew my absolute mind, especially when you go and look at the fan theories.
Did you like Limbo?
I never played Limbo.
You never played Limbo? Okay.
No. I've heard it's pretty good too.
Limbo's good. Didn't hit with me the same way Inside did, and I think Inside's a better overall like game,
yes.
Just from like
atmosphere-wise,
design aesthetic,
yes.
and the atmosphere behind it. Yeah. I really liked Inside too. Even Max, co-host of the show, I think he said it's like his number. He would put it in his top 10 all-time favorites.
It's so good.
It's really good.
And normally I am very particular on how much money I spend on certain lengths of games, but this is one of those ones like Journey, where I could spend $20 on it and not feel like I wasted my money.
Play through it once, never play it again, and totally be fine with it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I feel about it too, because I went back and I cleaned up the achievements, and then after that I was like totally fine with never playing this again, because that was just an awesome experience. And it really is. The ending of that game,
we were laughing and crying. Like, I'm seriously, the game gave a lot of different emotions, and it's just one of those where I can't even say what I did or how I did it, because
it's hard to even explain. Like, it doesn't make sense. We could try to spoil it now, and you wouldn't know.
It
doesn't make sense.
You wouldn't feel how you feel if you were to just go and play it, because
I was just confused, but also
I remember
felt like
screaming like a little girl a few times because I was so scared and in suspense. The game just has so many different elements of mystery and curiosity, and it's
expertly designed too. Like game, all of the puzzles are perfect. There's like, it's just a master class of game design. It really is, like, just fundamentally, like, there's nothing wrong with the gameplay of that game at all. It executes perfectly what it wants to do.
And it's so smooth. And I don't know if you've looked up any theories, but there are some very interesting theories.
I've looked up some, especially once you see the secret ending or the hidden ending, where it's like, supposedly the stuff that happens at the end is somehow related to the thing at the beginning. And then your character, the reason they may do a certain action when you do the hidden ending is because he's just like everybody else in the game. So it's weird. I'm trying to talk in code. You know what I'm talking about, though. It's really good. It's really good. I like that they don't really point anything out specifically either. You have to put the pieces together. And even if you do figure something out, you're not necessarily right, and they're never going to tell you if you're right either, because Playdead has also never spoken out about Limbo either. Like, they've never talked about Limbo. So
they're just like, here's this game, go ahead and play it.
Here's a game. You find a dead girl at the end or whatever. Is it your sister or something? I don't know.
Now we also have The Witness, which came out this year, and Firewatch.
The Witness was have you played either of those?
I played a little bit of The Witness. I haven't beat it, but
another master class of game design, I would say. But
it's also a beautiful game, honestly.
It's really beautiful.
It's colorful and everything.
Hurt my brain. Like, I've said this on the show.
It tires you out. It really does.
It physically exhausted me. I played it every day for like a week, and by the end of the week, I like forced myself to stop playing it because I felt physically drained. Like, I just felt it's like life leaving me, because you're thinking so hard.
It's like, really, after taking the SAT, like, I just kind of walked out of there like I was kind of finished with life itself. Because it's hard. It really, like, you feel like you can't think of anything.
And I was getting to the point with it too where I kept turning to guides, and I was like, this feels wrong, man. Like, I shouldn't have to.
I
shouldn't have to. I don't want to, but like, I'm so stuck at this one part, and I'm tired of staring at it, and still can't figure it out. And I'd like to go back to it. Don't know if I will
ever.
Because the thing is too, now I haven't played in like 6 months. I don't remember what all those symbols mean. I probably could a little. I could probably get a quick refresher if I actually jump back into it, but that would be really hard, and I just don't know if I will at this point. Firewatch, did you play that?
No, but I've definitely heard a lot about it. The reviews are very middling, like very divisive. People, when I first played it, I really, really, really liked it a lot. As I've sat back and thought about it again over the course of the year, it's kind of started to dwindle in my mind how I feel about it. Originally I probably would have given it like a 9 or something if I was reviewing it. Now I think it's probably closer to a 7. It's still really good, but I don't like some of the story beats. I don't like how I didn't like the payoff at the end either, because you feel like there's going to be a huge payoff, and there really isn't. And they do a good job of setting the stage. The first hour is phenomenal because they really set the stage well, and you're really invested into the story and the narrative. And then
Did you play Gone Home?
No, but I've read a lot about it. I have
There's
read a lot about it.
Gone Home and Firewatch both do a similar thing where they lead you thinking, they make you think it's the overall story is leading one direction, and then at the last second it kind of just totally changes and it ends up being something completely different. Like for Gone Home, for instance, like is this demons? Oh nope, it's just lesbians. So like you end up thinking that one thing is going to happen, then it totally switches to one thing, which is fine, but like it's not an awful thing, I guess, but it's kind of jarring in a way.
Yeah, I actually read a book like that, and it really left kind of a bad taste in my mouth. Felt me really like unsatisfied.
Yeah,
and so and that's kind of what happens, because you in your mind you build up like, how is this going to
start
end?
building like
and
theories and things like
totally
that,
goes
and then
somewhere else, and you're like, this
it.
doesn't feel like the way this game should have like logically gone.
Yep, that's exactly how I felt with both Gone Home and Firewatch. I would still suggest playing Firewatch. It's $20. I think it's worth playing just to figure out how you feel about it personally.
Inside's definitely a buy though.
Inside's a buy. As far
Witness, I'd say is it still $40?
Still $40. If you really, really like puzzle games, buy it immediately.
Yes.
If you are on the fence with puzzle games, I would say you can wait for the price to drop. I'm kind of in the middle with puzzle games. I like them, but I don't like.
Yeah. I don't actively seek them out.
Yeah. Same here. So they're both great games though. Other indie titles this year though, I'm trying to think. Awesome, as I mentioned. Thumper's really good. I've talked about that. Super Hypercube, awesome. Max gave Super Hypercube a 10.
Wow.
So it's really good.
Yeah.
It's $30. I think is kind of a steep price for Super Hypercube. I like it. Have you played it? You obviously haven't played it. Have you seen it?
Mm-mm.
I can show you that here in a couple minutes. It's basically Tetris, where you have a cube in front of your face, and there's a hole. It's at the very end.
Oh, and it's coming towards you?
And it's coming towards you, but you have to look around to like see what shape the hole is at the end, and then you have to rotate the cube.
You rotate, I've definitely seen that.
It's a master class in what it's trying to do, but that's literally the entire game. There's no other modes. There's no other scoring. Like I figured there would be like variant types of modes on that. Nope, it's just that. So it's like... It's similar to like a Tetris or something like that, where that's the game and you just...
Like 3D Tetris.
You just keep playing that. So it's really good. I don't know if it's worth $30. It's really, really good though. Like, again, Max gave it a 10. So it's not a bad game. It's a fantastically designed game, but there is seriously nothing to do in it besides what it is trying to do. But what it's trying to do, it does really well. Other indie games this year, I'm trying to think.
I am too. I feel like I'm kind of missing one, and I'm trying to decide what I'm missing.
They're kind of indie games, I guess. We can call them indie games. You've been playing Batman? Telltale series?
No. I have heard... I actually haven't even really heard about it.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Hasn't hooked me yet, but episode 3 comes out next week. I'm looking forward to it. They're doing some interesting new things with the story. Let me see what else we've had this year. Abzu was okay, kind of a Journey ripoff. I liked it, but it was too similar to Journey. It was Journey. Like it was trying to be exactly like Journey.
I'm literally trying to think of mine.
I'm gonna look up a list of games that have come out this year,
because Rocket League came out for Xbox, or that came out last year. I am honestly waiting for another indie game to come out like Minecraft or Rocket League that just propels itself into the stratosphere.
I feel like there has been a game like that recently, and I can't think of what it is right now off the top of my head. Shoot. I'm looking here at some indie titles that have come out this year. Really haven't seen much.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a good year, I'd say, for really games in general. The past 2 years really have been probably the best back-to-back years in a really long time. But
so we're going to talk about this, and I'm sure we'll do this again on the show with Max in a couple episodes, because the year is slowly or quickly winding down.
Yes.
2016 Game of the Year. What are some of your favorites so far?
Inside's up there. Dark Souls 3 is up there.
Inside's up there for me as well. I still have yet to play Dark Souls. I would like to. I'm going to guess I don't get to it before the end of the year, though.
Yeah, unfortunately, I would like to try Uncharted 4, and I don't think I will before the end of the year.
Uncharted 4 is really good. It's up there for me, for sure. It's a satisfying conclusion to the series as a whole. Uncharted's good. Uncharted is definitely one of mine. Honestly, sounds weird to say. MLB The Show 16 was really, really good this year. Mm-hmm. I've been playing a lot. Like, that is a game that I keep coming back to. You saw all the games over there that I'm like, dude, I'm trying to beat this, I'm trying to beat this, I'm trying to beat this. Whenever I feel overwhelmed by, like, all the games I'm supposed to play or review or whatever, I'm like, I'll just play MLB The Show for 2 hours or something like that, which I shouldn't do, but it's really fun. I really like playing online with people. It's really good. It's really freaking good.
Speaking of baseball, Quantum Break is my out of left field kind of game of the year.
Quantum Break was really good.
I played the game 4 times and was never tired of it.
4 times?
I did. I absolutely
played
did.
It once.
It was great. I could not get enough, and I'm disappointed that my roommate hasn't tried it yet.
Which one, Chris or Mike?
Chris. He even borrowed my stupid copy, so now it's only worth like $2. Also, Forza Horizon 3 surprisingly is like.
Really?
Might be up there for me because it is good. It is
heard really good things about it.
Much fun. The game is beautiful. The photo mode. I love customizing my cars. Like, it is so fully featured and so big and fun. Like, I'm really having a blast with it. I think I have to dig my claws into Battlefield 1 a little more, but I think that is definitely might have a spot. I also have to beat Gears.
That's another one I need to do. Here's a few I'll ask you about. The Division.
Oh, gosh. The Division is a nightmare that I don't know if I want to revisit. It was not... Okay, so...
It's not a bad game.
Not at all. I went into the game, the launch, I was super excited for it until about 3 months before it came out, and then suddenly I was like, this game is not going to live up to what it's supposed to, and was telling people and talking about it, and I'm like, this game is going to flop hard, and it didn't. It actually really didn't. I tried it. I bought it for $30, and I had a blast.
It's good. It just doesn't have legs, which is what people expect from an MMO.
Yeah. So I beat the story. I played 60 hours. Played some Dark Zone after that.
See, that's the thing. You can't complain when you play a game for
60 hours.
For 60 hours. For the price but because it is an MMO, people have found a way to complain because of they expect more.
And the problem is it's really. I can't complain about my time with it. It's just that I got pretty bored of it because the grind got too hardcore. And so I just kind of let it go. I traded in, and I had my fun. Like, I'm actually really pleased with the amount of time and the amount of pleasure that I got out of it.
I traded that in Quantum Break in, I think.
Mm-hmm. But the problem is the updates that they've been doing. The updates they did for a while after were really breaking the game, really kind of ruining what the game was about. They're supposed to, I'm pretty sure they actually just released like a 1.4 gigabyte patch that's supposed to fix pretty much everything.
That's good at least.
And I saw a lot of patch notes, and it seems like it might. And honestly, if the game gets to $20 eventually, I might pick it up.
Here's a couple more for you. First, Doom. Did you play Doom?
No,
I liked Doom. I liked it.
Extremely skeptical of Doom when it first came out, especially after the beta. The beta was bad. The multiplayer beta was really bad.
The multiplayer's not good.
Yeah, because it was actually made by Crystal Affinity. And if you don't know them, they also did Halo 4 multiplayer. They are very interested in making every game feel like COD. So I really didn't like the multiplayer beta. But the game came out. The story was fantastic. The mechanics were fantastic. The modifiers they had for the speed and the difficulty are all great. And they really made Doom feel like modern Doom keeping it classic.
The thing I loved the most about it was I forget the name of the mechanic, but just if you damage them enough, then you can go over and tear their arm off and beat them to death with it or whatever.
That's pretty much an execution.
Yeah. It was an execution style game mechanic.
Yeah.
But the thing was, that was how you earned health. So they basically
made you feed off
They made you feed off of that. Where every other shooter in the market right now is
regenerating health.
Is regenerating health and allows you to stay back and quietly pick people off. This was like, oh, you're hurt. you better run in and shoot everybody in the face really quickly to heal yourself.
And it go right next to them and like beat the shit out of them.
Yeah. It flips it on its head where you can't sit back when you're hurt. You need to rush in even more and try to get right in the thick of things, which is interesting. Overwatch. That's up there for me. I will say that I have not gone back to it. I've not played the game in like 3 months, but I really, really, really would like to get back into it. I played it a lot in June and some of July too.
Well, Chris loves it. My older brother loves it. And for some reason, Overwatch is just one of those games that does not click with me. It's fun when I play it, but I look at it and I'm like, I feel like there are better games I can be playing right now. I really liked May when I played. Like, May was fun.
I hate you.
You just don't know how to play May or play with May.
I just hate people who play as her.
What? Dude, you just have to be the best support character of all time and just ice wall all the time.
I hate it.
I really like May. I also really like playing as Lucio and...
I'm a Junkrat guy.
McCree. I loved McCree.
Well, McCree was probably... When you played as him, he was probably still overpowered.
It's high noon. Yeah, I love McCree.
I like Junkrat a lot. Let me see here. More games. Mighty Number 9. I'm kidding. That game was hot trash, supposedly. I don't know. Actually, that's like our game we bashed the most on the show. Let me see what else. Surprisingly, Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens, probably the best Lego game in the past 5 years, I would say.
I have heard the same thing. And that's talking...
I actually just traded
in the same 5 years that Marvel Superheroes came out, which was supposed to be the best...
Which was really good.
Ever. So that's pretty insane.
Yeah, I really liked it a lot. Let me see
the only thing that I didn't like about Force Awakens is that it was only one movie as a Lego game.
I thought
I would really stretch it out.
I thought I would hate that. I ended up liking it because of that. The only negative I will say about that was the character roster suffered. But other than that, they found a way to make the levels work way more than I thought they would.
So they gave everybody kind of an ability. Was TR-8R in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's not his name, but his name's FN218.
Oh wait, no. Then I'm thinking of the guy who beat him up in like pretty much the middle of the movie. The guy who had the dual wield baton.
Yeah. That's not
him?
TR-8R. The internet gave him that name. Because what does that spell out?
Traitor, yeah.
Yeah. So that's not his actual name. His real name is FN21 something.
2187?
That's Finn. That's what Finn is.
Oh well.
I forget what his
what is.
Most people wouldn't know this. I'm a Star Wars nerd, so I would like almost pride myself on knowing this stupid trivial stuff. Let me see what else came out. No Man's Sky came out. I bought that. I returned that before it was cool. I'll just say that. I returned that.
I texted you and you're like, "Oh, I like it." And I'm like,
I played it for 3 hours and then I had no feeling of going back. It would have been a good game
for
if
$20.
you didn't, not even that. It would have been a good game if you did not need to freaking craft every little thing to get somewhere. If I could have just been like, cool, a planet. I'm flying there. I would have loved it. I would have been fine with it. I would have been totally fine with it. But because
they made it
survival. And that's what I hated. That was the one thing that I hated. I can forgive everything else wrong with it that people have complained about forever.
Except
but
the fact
because
that developers lied to you.
That's kind of blown out of proportion, I think, at this point.
They lied about the multiplayer, dude.
Yeah, that is the one thing they lied
they
about.
straight up were like, they pretty much said yes in a very cryptic way, and then it just wasn't there. That makes me really mad.
Don't think they were expecting people to find one another that fast.
And then they did the first day. So.
And then first day, within like 12 hours of launching, people found one another.
He's like, wow, this is amazing. You hear so many of you playing, and then he went quiet. He hasn't even tweeted since the game came out.
I feel bad for him, though. I really do.
I don't feel bad for that idiot. He's such a jerk, dude. He lied.
I feel awful for Sean Murray. He's getting way too much crap for that game. When it's not him
they should have had a PR guy.
It's not him who hyped it up, obviously, because he's developing it. Of course you're going to hype up your own game. It was the rabid fan base around that game.
Yeah, I definitely see that.
And they ran away with that, and they have attacked him repeatedly over the past few months. I feel bad for him. There's a reason he hasn't tweeted.
Yeah,
and it's not because he's being silent on the game. I guarantee it's because he doesn't want to go on the internet.
He would get destroyed if he tried to say anything.
Yeah.
The thing that I saw that really let me know that the fans who were trying to talk about this game were getting crazy was when I saw somebody who posted a 6,000 word essay on Reddit about what there was going to be in the game, and they said that one of the features was that as you went to planets, if you were able to get back to the same planet, you would see that animals were evolving. And I was like, that's not going to happen.
No. See, I feel like, I don't know, man. It's a weird game because what they were trying to do, you have to commend them for.
Yeah.
Because if that game...
If it panned out,
yeah, it would have been one of the greatest achievements probably in video games.
History. Yeah.
I mean, the fact that they created the galaxy that they did, and I get that it's all procedurally generated and stuff, but the fact that they did that and it's like 5 gigabytes or something like that is pretty insane.
But it's because they recycle assets.
They do for sure.
But here's the thing. If there is honestly one thing that everybody needs to learn from No Man's Sky, if they didn't know before, it's that you should never ever pre-order a game.
That is a good thing. The one thing that I do hate though,
this should really be like
that is the good one. The one thing that I hate though that it's going to do is I feel like it's going to deter other developers from taking chances.
Yes,
and that's what I hate, and that's why people need to get off Sean Murray's butt, because people aren't gonna. They're going to continue making the freaking checkpoint Ubisoft games, or it's go here, destroy this outpost. Hey, now you own this outpost, like stuff like that, which is actually really fun. I like, but it's
a recipe that gets reused.
There's recipes to video games at this point, and I commend them for trying. It didn't click with me. The survival stuff really. That's what did me in. I totally would have played it otherwise. I just couldn't stand. Every time I wanted to go somewhere, I need this stupid freaking blue rock.
And
great.
I've actually saved like at least 6 or 7 posts of just lists of stuff that they said was going to be in the game and wasn't. Like that they said in trailers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it is definitely like the fans are partly to blame, the people who went rabid with excitement, but I think the developers also definitely had a hand.
The developers definitely did. They definitely screwed everybody
up. And I actually am wondering, I think Sony also might have. I don't know for sure, but considering the marketing that they did, the big stage that they gave them, if this game just released on PSN one day and they were like, here's this game, people would have been like, holy God, because it definitely would have been $60 if that happened.
That was the thing.
Yeah.
Sony overhyped it too. But even Shuhei Yoshida, president of Sony Worldwide Studios, he basically said like
gave it back to Hello Games. He's like, this is kind of your fault.
He's like, yeah, they kind of promised too much.
Yeah.
So it really was more their fault than anything.
Yeah.
Other great games this year besides the fantastic No Man's Sky, I really like BioShock Collection, and that's an obvious thing.
I've heard the BioShock Collection is probably one of the best remasters of the generation.
It's
so
really, really good.
The assets are great.
Did you play ReCore?
No, I read up a lot on it because I wanted to buy it, and my roommate got it, and he just it sounded like people were getting pretty burnt out after 8 or 9 hours.
That's what I heard. I heard it was repetitive. Yeah. Well, I heard the dumb thing about it was it pulled like a Banjo-Kazooie or something like that, or not even Banjo-Kazooie.
Yes.
It pulled like you get to the very end, and it's like, you're at the end of the game. Hey, but you got to go do all that stuff, so you better go clean it up. And I heard that cleaning up all of that stuff takes longer than getting to that point itself. So, in theory,
it was really artificial.
In theory, you're like at the end, and then they force you to go do another 8 hours worth of stuff.
Yeah,
and that's what I heard was the worst part of it. Let me see what else has come out. I feel like there's some more things that have come out this
Forza,
month.
Which is great.
Forza,
for a while. Gears.
I haven't played Forza. I haven't played Gears either, so I can't speak to really either of those. That's all that's really come out so far this year.
Yeah,
there's some
we're still kind of waiting.
There's some cool VR stuff that's come out that I've talked about. Arkham VR is honestly probably one of my favorite games this year. It's only like 90 minutes long, but I mean, you were laughing hysterically while you were playing.
Well, yeah, I was just laughing because I couldn't believe that my hands were right there and I could pick up a batarang and like switch hands and stuff. Yeah. I was like tossing stuff at Alfred.
That's one of my favorite games this year. That and Rez is up there too. It's been a solid year so far.
Now games, because we really don't have that much left. If there was a game that I had to choose that I'm looking forward to most for the rest of this year, it's definitely Dead Rising 4. I cannot wait for that game.
I might agree with you. In terms of a game that I know is going to be good, that I'm excited to actually play, that is probably it. I would probably put Last Guardian above it, just again out of morbid curiosity and out of something that I just have to play and see for myself. I really want to play Last Guardian, just totally out of curiosity. Dead Rising 4 though is going to be great.
Yes,
I'm really
I cannot wait for that. If there's a second place, it's Dishonored now. Now that you remember
Dishonored, I really am looking forward to Watch Dogs though.
Me too, but
I've heard it's the same jump from Assassin's Creed 1 to Assassin's Creed 2.
Really?
Yep.
Well, that's certainly interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, because the only reason I'm not going to buy it on launch is because it's, first of all, Ubisoft. I loved Watch Dogs 1, but it still wasn't what I thought it was going to be. It kind of pulled like a Destiny on me. Like it was fun, but it wasn't what I expected.
The thing I hated about Watch Dogs 1 too much, and the thing that I really like about 2, is that the game it's supposed to be dumb, but Watch Dogs 1's tone
was so serious,
grim and serious.
It was,
I'm a hacker, bro.
Well, he was like the Batman of Chicago. Like he tried to sound like Batman.
Yeah.
I'm Aiden Pierce.
Yeah,
that guy was
they're
so
having
legit.
more fun with it in this one. They're like, let's put it in San Francisco. We'll just be real dumb.
It's like free runners. It seems more like the type of people who would be hackers and like trying.
It's a bunch of Silicon Valley rich snobs or something like that.
Which is cool. And the free running in the game actually looks really cool.
It does.
It looks way better, way more fleshed out. I just really hope they fix the car physics in this game.
Yeah. Well, you can hack cars now too, which is actually really cool.
I also hope that they can at least try and get to the level of hacking that they kind of advertised in Watch Dogs 1.
Yeah,
because they were like everything, and I'm like, wow. I can't
I've heard
this
nothing but good things from people who have played the game, like preview wise.
That's cool.
I've heard nothing but like praise.
That's really good.
So I'm really looking forward to it. Again, Dishonored's like the one game that is really just quiet. I haven't seen any previews about it. Yeah. I heard about it at E3, and that was it.
Well, E3, the trailer for E3 was absolutely fantastic.
The gameplay,
new powers, and I really love the weather system too.
The weather
that's going to be really cool.
Gorgeous. The whole time thing, where it's like I'll go in the past, now I'll go in the future, now I'll look into the future and see what's happening in the future through the compass or whatever. Yeah. That's nuts. Yeah. That's a really cool mechanic.
My favorite power is the one where you can link people together, and whatever you do to one does it to all of them.
Yep.
That's so fucking cool.
The thing that the thing that I've heard that is like blown people away in some of the previews I have read, I think it was like a cover story for Gamer Informer a few months ago. They said that they sat down and played the game for like 5 hours, and they started mixing and matching all the powers, and they were doing things that the developers
didn't even know you could do.
They're like, oh, cool, I didn't even know we could do that, but thanks for figuring that out. Like, so obviously they've created a game where
it's really sandboxy, actually.
Yeah, because they don't necessarily know what's going to happen with some of the things that you try and that you end up doing. So it's cool in that regard. I'm looking forward to it. I probably will ask for it for Christmas or something. I liked the first Dishonored. I played through it in 2 days or something, but maybe 3 days, something like that. It was when I was in high school. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it.
My this year probably looks like 2, if Watch Dogs 2 is good, 3 more games, and then 2017 also looks to be really good.
Okay, so I've got a couple. You got to get going, don't you? It's like 6:45.
I actually don't, because I thought that I had to be out of here earlier. But,
okay. I have a fantasy basketball draft at 7. So I'll ask you. I've got a couple other questions here for you, and we'll try to wrap up.
Yes.
What's the one game you're like? Or the couple games, if you've got one game that you're really looking forward to. Obviously, we just pointed out a couple that are coming out next month, but long term.
Yeah. Okay, Crackdown 3.
I keep forgetting about that.
Still waiting on that game, and I'm so sad that they pushed it back, because that was supposed to be kind of Xbox's cloud server, big.
That's probably why it got pushed.
Well, probably for Scorpio, actually, and it's supposed to actually come out next year. I was hoping to see something at E3 that finally gave us kind of a time frame, or Gamescom, but they still haven't done that. So I'm hoping to see it maybe at E3 and then just be like, it's coming in the next 6 months.
I keep forgetting that's a thing.
Yeah.
That's going to be really good.
Yes.
We'll have to do the co-op together, because I really liked co-op. I'm one of the few people who like Crackdown 2, because I played it with a bunch of people, and it was really fun in co-op.
Yeah.
And
I'm just really excited for the level of demolition and all that you can do. That just looks really, really
You can
fun.
only do that in multiplayer.
In the multiplayer on the servers.
Yeah.
But let's see, what else am I looking forward to?
I know I've got a few of mine off the top of my
Cyberpunk
head.
2077.
Whenever that is. That's like
Can't come
2019.
soon enough.
That's a ways out. I know that I'm really looking forward to. I'd say my overall game that I'm really looking forward to, Spider-Man. I'm still hyped about that trailer that we saw.
I can't wait till Spider-Man.
I'm really excited for
Spider-Man's my
that.
favorite superhero, so
I'm really excited for that.
I'm gonna have to crumble to play that.
Mass Effect 3, which we're actually going to get news on,
Andromeda.
or Andromeda, not
Crazy.
3, Mass Effect 3. Mass Effect Andromeda, which we're actually going to get news on within like 2 weeks or so on N7 Day.
Can't wait. I
gonna be
want to
really
play
good.
that game super bad. I honestly don't know if there's like that much. Like I kind of want to play Scalebound. I kind of want to play Halo Wars 2. There's not really a lot of AAA games that we know are coming next year. Like they're just kind of the ones. So all we know about are the exclusives.
I'm really
that have
looking
been
forward
announced.
to Horizon Zero Dawn as well. That is probably in my top 3 as well.
Days Gone looks really interesting. I want to see more about that game.
I want to see more of Days Gone too. Horizon's the one that's like imminent that I'm really looking forward to though.
Yes.
Spider-Man's ways out. Mass Effect, I'm still
What about God of War 4? I thought you were looking forward to that.
look forward to that. Don't know when that's going to come out. I'm still not convinced that Mass Effect's coming out in March. Like people keep saying it is. We haven't seen anything
No.
yet. Like we haven't
No.
seen a dang thing about the game.
It's coming out freaking fall or something.
I'm
if we're
thinking
lucky.
fall.
I'm actually thinking November.
Obviously, and then I just remember the other one I was thinking about too that I'm really looking forward to now is Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh yeah. Well, of course. Who's not
Well,
looking forward
duh,
to that game?
because they tweet a logo of the Rockstar logo.
The
and it gets
best part was the puzzle that they did on Twitter leading up to that.
Yeah.
And into the trailer. Like that was like classy.
They tweeted their logo and they
The-
got
in red.
120,000 retweets.
Yes.
120,000 retweets. So
They were the top post. When they posted Red Dead Redemption 2 in the poster, top post on Reddit, like 12,000 upvotes, like all day. Like,
Yeah.
There were like 3 of them at the top. Like it was huge. It was giant. And the trailer was fantastic. It didn't say a lot, but the graphics look great. I mean, I'm just really
quick question
looking forward
for you, because I had an argument with Max about this last episode. Who's the better developer? And I know you're an Xbox guy, so maybe this won't be a great question for you to answer. Who's the better developer, though, between Rockstar and Naughty Dog? I said Rockstar because I think the worlds they construct are insane.
Yes.
And while I told Max the one thing that Naughty Dog is untouched in is writing.
Yes.
But I don't even
Rockstar
think
still does a great job.
Rockstar still does a great job with writing. Their worlds are more fleshed out. I think their gameplay mechanics are more sound.
Yeah.
Uncharted 4, while it's fantastic, I have some issues with the gameplay. I feel like it got a
honestly,
little stale.
I think Rise of the Tomb Raider was a little better in the gameplay.
I do too.
Comparing those two.
I do too. And Max is an apologist, but he's not here. I said Rockstar personally. And again,
I would agree.
And because they know, and just as a developer, like they know how to generate excitement and hype. Like no one in the industry is going to tweet out their freaking logo with the red background.
Have people lose their minds.
Have people freak out about it. That is not a thing that anybody else can do except for Rockstar. So
they really are kind of a titan of the industry.
They're-
Honestly, I think as
the-
good as Bethesda is and everything, I think Rockstar really, out of all the third-party developers, might be number one.
There's only one who comes close. One. And because on our last episode, we counted down our top 5. And there's only one other person who comes anywhere close, and it's Valve.
Yeah, well, but they haven't made games in like 10 years.
Yeah, but still,
Yeah.
they still. It's probably to me. I think my list was Rockstar, and then Valve, and then I think I had BioWare,
Which is fair.
and then Naughty Dog,
Yeah,
and then I forget who was after that.
Yeah.
Maybe like Rocksteady or something like that. I think Rocksteady's awesome.
yeah.
But
yeah,
Bethesda's
so
up there too. But I'm kind of frustrated
I lost
after.
so much of my faith in them. Oh,
I still
God,
have
it's
faith
sad.
in them, but it was just like, can we update the graphics here and the
Yeah.
bugs, please?
Yeah.
The graphics to me was more than, I don't know. It just felt stale. It felt stale too. It felt off-loaded. I still think it's a great game. Like I'd give it like a good 8 or so, but I was expecting so much more.
Yeah, Rockstar.
I think Rockstar is the top, and then I think Valve, and then
because Rockstar does great writing. Their stories are always great, especially when you look at Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah.
Their graphics are always top of the line. They create giant worlds that are all interesting. Their mechanics
their
are
worlds
so
are
widely
the worlds are
varied.
fleshed out too,
Yeah.
which is what's hard, and the freedom they give you in the worlds to do, like
They really feel alive. Honestly.
they feel alive. It feels like GTA 5 especially is just really insane.
Mm-hmm.
How
big it is and how much you can do. And the thing that's hard to do, it's hard to compare a developer like Naughty Dog to Rockstar, but it's the fact
awesome.
that that's hard to do is the reason Rockstar is better, because Naughty Dog makes great stories, like probably some of the best in the industry, but all their games are linear and short. And Rockstar keeps you enthralled, just keeps you going.
And so it's hard to judge them based off of that, because I think nobody creates linear games better than Naughty Dog
does, yeah.
But I really just think Rockstar everything, and it's not even the games comparison as much either. I just think the way which they carry themselves. I like that they don't go to E3. I like that they're super quiet on their games. Like they don't
announce it 1 week in October.
Yeah, just yeah, okay, Sunday morning, 9 a.m. Let's throw up that stupid image we've got. Like they know what they're freaking doing, and they keep everything tight. We did not know. The only thing we might know about Red Dead is the map. That is the only thing that leaked that people thought. I forget when that happened, but supposedly the Red Dead map leaked, and I don't even put faith in that. So nothing about the game leaked. We all knew it was coming, but still.
Yeah.
I have one last question for you, because I know we've only got a couple more minutes, and then I need to sign off this. Yeah. What do you think of the PS4 Pro?
I am honestly super surprised that they're releasing it at all in the state that it is. I know that there are people who are going to buy it.
They've poured too much money, and this is something that I had the exact same thought for a long time, and I realized that people were right. They've poured too much money into it. They just have to put it out at this point. And I'm really negative on it. Like I think
Me too.
I think it's a really stupid idea.
I do too.
I think it's really stupid. And not even because Microsoft has Scorpio looming. I just think it's dumb in general. We don't need a mid-tier jump that takes us to 4K when 4K is not even prevalent yet.
And it's not even possible at that power level. It really isn't. There's like a handful of games that'll be native, but they're not that intensive. And there can be optimization done maybe in their first-party games to make that possible.
It's going to be the first-party stuff mainly.
But, I mean, in a world where 4K is still growing, and this year and last year have been the times when 4K has been somewhat affordable.
Yeah, it's getting there, kind of like HD TVs.
This is really going to be lost on a large amount of consumers, and the power jump is not significant enough to make 4K truly possible at a good frame rate. And I'm really hoping that I seriously just hope that they keep it 1080, 60 FPS and just add in a lot more assets.
I was curious what you thought of it, because obviously, like I said, you are the Sony basher. But, dude, I thought it was dumb, too, because there's literally no reason for it to exist. There's no reason for me to buy one except for the expanded hard drive, 1 terabyte.
And it's that's the problem. It's not enough for... The price point is actually fantastic.
It's actually a really good price point,
The problem is that it's not enough to entice most PS4 owners to make it.
Well, I would have to buy a new TV first as well.
And people are like, well, I'll spend the $400 to make PSVR better. And I'm like, you already spent $400 on PSVR.
I don't think it's even making PSVR better, because here's the thing. They're like, oh, it'll make my PSVR look better. I'm like, dude, PSVR is locked in at what it can do. It can stabilize it. I've played a lot of PSVR the last week. I have not seen any stabilization issues. Maybe when we get to the bigger games and like the Resident Evils are coming out, maybe then it'll struggle.
And people are,
but I haven't run into any issues yet.
And people are speculating maybe it'll fix the resolutions, but you can't fix a resolution on a fixed resolution screen.
Exactly. So I don't understand, because that's the one thing I've heard too, is people say, well, I want the best VR experience. I'm like, it's going to stabilize it. But that's it.
Fix some of the stuttering, but the stuttering isn't even a big deal in the first place.
The biggest problem is the motion tracking to me, and that's not
something that's part of the camera. That's not part of the PS4 itself.
So I don't understand.
Not a fan. And honestly, there's actually something out there. Every console that has come out first in its respective generation has lost its generation.
Yeah, that's true. Because PS3 ended up winning last gen, even though most people don't realize that.
The numbers now are in Xbox 360's favor by like a super small margin, but at the end of the generation, PS3 was in the lead.
When everybody started having their eyes on to next gen, PlayStation 3 quietly just swooped in, and they were both super close, but PS3 was still but clear winner by like 2 or 3 million units, which is pretty significant considering where they launched at. Yeah.
But the Dreamcast lost. The
Wii U, I guess, technically was part of this current gen, sort of.
What else lost?
Which means the Switch is doomed. Switch is doomed, everybody.
What was part of the Xbox PS2 era?
GameCube.
GameCube also, yes, lost.
Yeah. So Nintendo's always losing to everybody. Yeah. I was curious what you thought about that, Endo, and if you just thought again, I think they would have been so much better suited to just because the thing's been out for 3 years now.
I would have been very.
If they could have waited until 2 more years from now, if 2 years from now they said, "Hey, we're going to PS5, everybody." 5 years is a smaller life cycle than I think most people anticipated at the beginning. When they even myself, when I bought my PS4, I was like, "Cool, I'm gonna have this for like 7, 8, 10 years."
Yeah.
I thought it would be a long life cycle,
but we know now it's not.
If it was 5 and they said, hey, PS5's coming out in 2018, I would have been totally fine with that. And the big selling point could have been, it is 4K now. Boom. That's our big selling point. Plus, more powerful. It'll run everything better.
Backwards compatible.
PSVR is obviously going to be able to work with it. All these things. Hey, here's PS5. Here's why you should buy it. Instead, now, it's just like, it's a really awkward transition to Pro. And I see Sony fanboys out there who are buying it, and I don't understand why. If you have a 4K TV and you want it for that reason, I get it. But if you seriously, if you're buying it, and I've said this too, if you are buying a PS4 Pro and you don't have a 4K TV, you're an idiot.
Especially if
you're an idiot.
Don't have HDR on it. It makes it even less important because 4K, the jump from 1080 to 4K isn't as much as it is non-HDR.
That was the biggest announcement from that day was that
every PS4 is going to have HDR. That's awesome.
That is incredible. Of course, I haven't been able to
People actually don't even know how that's possible because the PS4 doesn't support 2.2 HDMI.
Yeah.
And so it shouldn't even be possible, but they did.
But that's the biggest news from that day, but PS4 Pro, again, it's out in 3 weeks, and we haven't talked about it. I think since its reveal, if
Xbox did it, I also would have been pretty disappointed. I would have wanted more from that than I would have been like pretty.
I think Scorpio's set up well next year. I think honestly,
especially if they can work.
We
well
really got to
go.
We really got to go. I got 5 minutes, but I think Xbox would be smart to completely rebrand next year and drop the Xbox One and just be like, this is now just Xbox.
Yes.
Period.
Over.
That's it.
Boom.
This is it for the rest of forever.
And then they just do upgrades and upgrades.
Yep.
And upgrades.
I think that'd be really smart. Of course, I mean, this is an iPhone 6, but so I guess you can still give it new numbers.
Yeah.
But it'd be almost smart to make it like
maybe if
a concrete thing that they just build upon.
It would be cool if they did maybe Xbox Point 1, Xbox Point 2 or something.
Something like that. I don't know. I think it'd be smart for them to rebrand next year.
The other thing really, really fast is that a lot of people think that they might put PS5 in 2018, and I think that would be the dumbest thing ever. Because they would only give people 2 years between PS4 Pro and PS5.
Well, see, that's the dumb thing is I still think they are leaning towards that as well, which makes... Like I just said, I think it makes sense for them to not do PS4 Pro and then release in 2018.
It would make more sense to do 2019 then, because it'd be 3 years.
Well, yeah, that's true, but I think they should. I wouldn't be surprised if they did 2018 still, but I don't see what the big selling point is at that point.
But then
it's more powerful.
It's
more powerful because that was the big thing everybody complained about this gen. What's the big jump from this gen to the next? There hasn't been one.
Yeah.
The next generational jump could have been 4K, but instead now they're like awkwardly trying to force it in the middle of this gen. So it's weird.
So
anyway, cool. This was fun. So yeah, the rundown at the end. Yeah, Millennial Gaming Speak. As you know, you can find us on Twitter. The show's at MGS Podcast. I am at Moreman12. Are you on Twitter at all?
I am actually. My handle is at JakeTheMan72.
JakeTheMan72. I'll have to follow you because I don't even. Are you on it very much?
Yes. You'll definitely see me again.
Okay, I'll follow you after the show. I'll follow him. You should follow him too. You can email the show at mgspodcast@gmail.com with any questions, comments, or concerns that you may have. We'd love to hear from you. I don't know. We really didn't talk about anything concrete this episode, so you don't have to email us anything specific. This was a different episode. A little bit weirder. Not weird, but just different, I guess, because I'm not used to recording with another person in the room. But yeah, I guess that's it. Oh, iTunes. If you listen on iTunes, please leave us a review. 5 stars. That would be awesome. That'd help us out so much. We'd appreciate it. I guess that's it for episode 65. I don't know when we're going to do episode 66. Things are weird lately, but hooray, you're getting a whole bunch of episodes this week if you listen to the show. So hope you enjoy that. Again, thank you so much for listening. Have a great week. Bye-bye.